Hi there, I'm Shane. Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at reinstallation of the plate, hydraulic pump, and PTO housing on this David Brown 990 tractor. If you go back a few videos, I've been doing a kind of a series here on taking a look at the hydraulic pump and getting it serviced, getting it resealed. And in this video, we're just going to be taking you through the reinstallation process of that plate, hydraulic pump, and PTO housing. So if you're interested in seeing that, stay with me and we'll go through it. All right, what we're going to do here is try to reassemble the plate that the pump mounts to onto the axle here. I'm going to use this stuff right here for gasket sealer. It's kind of a red color. It's nice and goopy. Gets everywhere. But that's quite all right. This is a non-hardening gasket sealer. We will put a thin coat. Maybe I should have done this on the table, but whatever. Yeah, I should have done this on the table. But hindsight being what it is, 2020 and all. Okay, let's see if we can take it off, flip it around without breaking anything. All right, now flip this thing around. Let's make sure that the 3 holes on that side go there. Make sure everything is in alignment. And one thing about this gasket sealer is it makes it to where the gasket is sticky and will stick to the housing. Okay, now let's paint that side. Used a 1/64 gasket. Here, about as thin as I could get. I bought a whole big roll of it. One of the other advantages of using this gasket sealer is it allows you to disassemble without things sticking too badly, at least. As no one doesn't set, it's not hard. It doesn't harden over time. At least I don't think it does. Of course, I can't read the directions now because I got this stuff all over it. But for everything I've used this gasket sealer for in the past, it seems to do a really good job. Wear gloves when you're putting this stuff on. Get this mess on your fingers. You'll have to wear it off, I guess. Lacquer thinner should take it off. I really don't like soaking my hands in lacquer thinner. All right, I've got the plate now. Let's hope everything fits. If you remember, what we do is we have to make sure that this, we've got some little spider webs from the gasket sealer. It's okay. So when we put this back on, we have to make sure that that goes through that hole. Kind of tilt it to the right just a little. Tilt it over just a hair. Tell you what I'm going to do. I need a way to hold it up. I get it under that. I got to get closer. It's holding it off. Oh, I got to get the. We got to get this hydraulic pipe fed back in somehow. Hydraulic pipe has got to go in this hole right here. What I'll do. It's off that way. Somehow. Oh, this is annoying. go. Pipe's in there. Let's see if we can get this threaded back in now. Whew. Everything lined up. I think so. And let's try to put this top screw back in. Let's hand feed it in first. Let's see if I got that started. I do. Remember, these were only on their snug, these flat-headed screws. All right. That's on there. Sure that this pipe is set up correctly. We've got this, which I didn't clean up really well. This captures the pipe in place, and 3 screws hold it on. Just like so. Start these by my fingers so I don't cross thread. Remember, they were just snug. Snug. Let's make sure we torque them down right. Okay, ready? Click. And they're snug. One thing to note when you're taking this plate off and everything, there are 2 dowels right here. These dowels are actually just holes with a dowel inside. Don't lose them. I nearly lost it, and they are very good fit. It'll get air captured in behind it, and it's hard to get it back seated. See? There we go. All right, and to replace this, you simply put it back on, get it around the bend by spreading it a little bit, and remember it kind of contacts that back bolt of the pressure relief valve of the hydraulic pump. So I'll just leave that sitting up out of the way. Next thing will be to remount the hydraulic pump, get it set up. I've got new O-rings for here and here. Much thicker O-rings than, much thicker O-ring for this than was specified. I think it's 3mm in cross section. All right, it's time to put this hydraulic pump on again. Let's see if you can see pretty well. Light's about to start fading here, so we'll see. I poured a little bit of oil down in the pump, like Lance told me to. I may take this back off, take the pressure relief valve back off and pour some oil down in there, but I don't know exactly yet if I'm going to do that or not. I went ahead and put the O-ring on here. This is actually a little bit thicker than what's specified. I went kind of in between the standard US O-ring sizes. Went with a 3mm cross-section O-ring. I think it was 16 inside diameter, 16mm inside diameter, to kind of give a little bit of extra sealing. I did go through and look in the hole there. You can see there's no real damage inside the hole from oil leaking by, but we'll see how this goes on. All right, I do have the new O-ring on the bottom there. And we'll see how this thing goes back on. Got my finger underneath. Yeah, that thing is hard to get on. Just quickly, I remember in one of the earlier videos when I was talking about this hydraulic pump, when I was going through the Case IH seal kit that I bought. It had the 2 flange O-rings, it had the seal for the gear, and it had another O-ring in there that I said, I don't know where this goes. Well, I figured out where it goes. This pump has got a blanking plug right here that you can't really see. That does have an O-ring on it, and it's exactly the right size for that blanking plug. So I did unscrew this, take the old O-ring out of the linking plug. It just goes right around the nut there, the threads, right up against the head, and put the new O-ring on there. So I did use that. I'm going to get a light here and shine around to see if I can see issues before I start the process of bolting it back together. We'll need a 9/16 and a 7/16 socket. Oh, it's not on the dowels down there. It's on there. I don't think it's on the dowels down here. Okay, I'm going to take this back off. Actually, I'm going to take my hat off. Be right there, and I'm going to put this headlamp on so I can see. That's it. I got it. That's it. It's on there. Man, that took a little bit of force to get on there. The bottom feed bracket is 7/16. The pump mounts are 9/16. Bolt heads and the nut is a 9/16. I'm going to put the nut on first. Washer. Lock washer. And the nut. Can I get it on there with the gear on there? Maybe I need to pull it back just a hair. Yeah, you'll have to pull it back just a little bit. Get that nut started. And you can push it all back up. Okay, that's finger tight. Good deal. Now we've got two bolts at the bottom. You can see it on that side. Get my light around there. You can see a bolt goes there, a bolt goes there. Let's see if we got my holes lined up right. I did. Just snug it up. All right, 9/16 bolt head is a 3/8 inch bolt diameter. And as such, that would be a 25 foot-pound tightening torque. I do have a new torque wrench. There we go. "25 foot-pounds. I think I can guess on the top one because I'm not going to be able to get this socket down on top of it. No, gears are going to be in the way. It's okay. Give it up. There's 25. $26. All right, the pump is now reinstalled. Now we put the bottom bolts on. There are 4 of those. Lord, I hope that O-ring down there is in the right spot. I think it is. I don't feel any oddities down there. I'll get my light down there and look. Oh yeah, it's just in the right spot. Each of these bolts have a washer associated with them. Sorry if this moving the slide around like this is annoying, but it's starting to get dark out here. Okay. I'm going to call that pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to call that good right there. Good deal. On the pump pressure relief valve, these are BSP. Best adjustable wrench money can buy. To me, at least. That'll work. Sorry, you guys can't see this. Yeah, it's getting kind of chilly out here. Starting to breathe fog. All right, now this goes back down. It's turning. I think that's torqued enough. Anyway. All right. Hydraulic pump. So, Lord have mercy, that is some tightness right there. Oh Lord. You better generate somewhere close to 2,000 psi pump, or I'm going to give you a haircut. I'll trim some off of you. Campbell Booth sent Barry and I an email a week or two ago saying that he's got a pump that's off of his tractor, and he's actually going to do the process of skimming off the face there to bring the bearings back in. He did some pictures and all of how he polished his bearings. And if you go look on Barry's community page, Barry's posted the pictures of that from Campbell's hydraulic pump. If this doesn't generate close to 2,000 psi, I'll take this back off and have a machine shop do the same. I'm interested to see what Campbell's results are, though. He said he had resealed one, or somebody, I think he said he had resealed one, and it didn't generate somewhere around 1,500 psi. It didn't get any higher than that. So I'm kind of interested to see where this pump goes in terms of pressure it can generate. If it gets around 1,500 or so or less, I'll take all this back apart and have this sent over to a machine shop to take off maybe 5 to 7 thousandths off the surface there of the body. I'll have them polish the bearings a little bit as well to get everything into specification. So Campbell, if you're watching, I'm interested to see how your pump skimming, so to speak, quote unquote, skimming, how that goes. All right, hydraulic pump is reattached. We're good to go. Everything is ready now for the PTO housing to be put back on. And I apologize if the video is horrible, but hopefully it's not. Next will be to put the hydraulic housing, the PTO housing back on. I think I'm ready to at least test fit the PTO housing on. What I'm going to have to do is get this lined up to where it'll fit in there. I've put a little grease in there, but I got smart and went ahead and put gasket sealer on the gasket that goes between the PTO housing and the plate. I did that over here. I got smart and put some cardboard down and did the putting the gasket sealer on there. So next thing to do is really to move this. I'm not going to remove the seat. I think I'll just push it forward just to give myself some clearance. I think I've got enough room there. I can push it forward. Fix an 11/16 socket, at least for these bolts. Wait a minute. That's tighty. That's loosey. I don't want to take them off. I just want to be able to slide the seat forward. This should give me a little bit more room. I don't know, I might wind up taking them off and removing the seat, but whatever. That's okay. I say whatever a lot. It's rainy, cold, and blustery here today. That's why I've got the hood on, keep my ears warm. Also got a heater going on back here. The heck with it, I'm just going to take the seat off. These bolts do fall out, so be careful. Lord, this thing's heavy. Now, where'd that socket fall off to? I'll have to find it. Oh, where should I put you? Think about where you're going to put stuff before you get it off. I think I'll just sit it on a chair. You know, plan ahead a little bit. There we go. Got a seat in a seat. All right, so that's the seat removed. All right, I got my load lever. I can't talk, apparently. All right, I've got the load leveler reset to be lengthwise, I guess, wide against the PTO housing. Now all we do is lift it up. Let's make sure I've got them in the right holes, which I don't. Give me a moment. Okay, I've got the load leveler hooked up now in the right spots in order to lift this thing and get it back on there. Hopefully I've got enough room without hitting my heater over there. Okay. All right. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you see how this thing is tilted down that way a little bit? Using this leveler, and turn this handle here and get it more level. That's why it's called a load leveler. Duh. Okay, what we're going to do is try to test fit this thing into there so I can see gear meshing and that kind of thing. I do have a bore scope that I'll use to go in behind it and take a look at where the teeth are, and hopefully, and see if I can get that thing meshed up the correct way. Do you see an issue here? I do. It's backwards. I gotta flip this whole thing around. Okay, I got to flip back around. It's about enough. All right, let's see if I can do this without messing with my heater there. Starting to rain a little bit. I'll have to move you guys to a different vantage point because my phone is getting some rain on it. I don't want to bump my heater. Besides, y'all need a different vantage point anyway to be able to see what I'm doing. All right. So I'm close. I'll have to lower it down some. Will my seat fit in here? I think it will. Watch my head. I've already hit my head once. How many of you laughed at that in the other video? Oh yeah. Save my knees. All right. I need to come up. No, I don't. Okay, I've got it test fit. It's up there all the way around. One thing to note, if you're using something like this with two chains coming down to help stabilize everything, one thing you may want to do is once I got this up there on the pegs, what I did was I unbolted this and moved it from this front hole here back, and from that front hole back. What that did was allow me to raise and lower the back here such that the distance between the flanges was basically the same all around. The problem I was having was this thing was not flush, I guess, with the plate, and so I just adjusted up and down to get it to where it would go in. And once I did that, once I got it in the correct alignment up and down here on the back, it just slid right in. No problem whatsoever. No problem. So these are absolutely required. These studs are absolutely required for reinstallation. But if you've got something holding up the back, the front end of the PTO housing here, unbolt it and move it backwards to these holes. I probably didn't even need them, but I wanted the extra insurance just in case. I don't want just two sets of threads holding this up in the back here before I have a chance to get it bolted up. But yeah, move your load leveler bolts back to where you can move the back here up and down without affecting the front. So that's what worked for me. Your mileage may vary, but yeah, I got it test fit. Everything is aligned properly. My mark was a little bit off. It wasn't exactly up and down, but before you go to remove a PTO housing, mark a spot here that's vertical, and then make sure that this is in a latched position such that such that everything's in alignment. Whenever you go to reinstall it, you can get it back on the way it's supposed to. But anyway, it's on, but now it's got to come right back off. So I can get the gasket sealer on there. Maybe I should have just put the gasket sealer on it and just left it. Maybe I should have. But I wanted to do a test fit, and I did. So, okay. I took it off. Painted the gasket sealer onto the gasket. Now we are ready to do the final fit up here. Alright, so we need to bring it in some. And make sure that that's coming in there. I need to make sure inside, take a look with light down in there and make sure that feeder pipe is coming in. Yes, it is. There we go. I'm going to lower it just a little bit. There we go. Oh yeah, it's on the shaft. Good deal. Woohoo! It's on the shaft. I can't turn the PTO. All right, now just a little bit. I think we're home. And we're close. Okay, so I'm home on the bottom. The top has a gap. What I'll do is I will lift just a little bit. Get the gaps even. Oh yeah, I'm even all the way around. Or at least top and bottom. Top, bottom, good. Good deal. Now, where'd my bolts go? All right, so I've greased up the bolts a little bit, put a little grease on the threads and made them nice and slick. We'll go around, install all the bolts, get them snugged up, and then we'll take out these studs, get those bolts back in, snug those up, and then start the torque process. Getting this thing back on was pretty easy. Easier than I thought it would be. Maybe asking why I'm going ahead and putting the PTO back on when I'm going to take this ram shaft and valve chest out. Well, one, I want to finish what I start in terms of the PTO housing and the pump before going on to something else. A lot of times we start getting a lot of jobs going. The more we start, the less we finish. So I want to get this completed before I start to tackle another project. And that next project will be this ram shaft valve chest. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's an O-ring in here that needs to be replaced and it leaks from underneath. So I'll take this out, replace that O-ring, take the ram shaft valve chest out, and show you that whole process. At least on this tractor. Let's get these snugged up, and I'll be able to take the studs out. I need an extension for this. All right, I need to find out what the torque specs are. I'm looking through the manual here. The one thing I've found that's different, the V is in Victor hydraulic system manual has specifications and data page that gives all kind of different specifications and information. I'll put a screenshot of that up here somewhere for each of the individual components, which is useful. It gives tightening torques, data specs, all that kind of stuff. The T is in Thomas Select-O-Matic hydraulic manual has similar data associated with it. I'll show that here. It just generally has dimensional data. It does have tightening torques, but it's also got a section here that shows tightening torques for bolts that are not specifically mentioned in other areas. So I'll put a screenshot of this zoomed in here somewhere on the screen here. You can see that I'm working with a bolt that has a 5/8 head for these PTO mounting bolts, and 5/8 head is a 7/16 threads diameter for the bolt. So 7/16 bolts, according to this, would be 45 foot-pounds in terms of torque. So again, it's a case of having both manuals, both the T manual and the V as in Victor manual. Using both of them in conjunction with each other is generally the way that I have found the most useful. But again, this is all my opinion, so I'm not giving you I'm not giving you advice or anything here. This is just the way I see it. So I'm gonna go around at 25 first. Then I'll go around at 45. I'll go halfway there and then I'll do the rest of the way. I do like my new torque wrench. It's a Lexavon. That's 25. There's 25. I think that is all of them at 25. All right, let's go up to 45 now. I can't go that way. My shoulders. There's 45. I think it's safe to let it down. For these bolts, all I did was just snug them in there. I will not be putting the sensing unit back on just yet, but it is really simple to put on. It's just 6 bolts. The 2 long bolts go in the front here, and the 4 short bolts go in the back. Make a gasket for it before you do anything, before you put it back on. Yeah, my sensing unit going back on is a really easy process. All right, let's verify everything works the way it's supposed to back here. All right, that's in gear. The PTO's in gear there. I usually have to be on the tractor with it running in order to figure out which one's high, which one's low. The stickers have long since perished. Neutral works just fine, and I can engage into either high or low, whichever one's back that way. All right. Yeah. Next we'll be taking the ram shaft and valve chest out. Got to take all the bolts out here. These 2 bolts, those 2 bolts. Got to take the quadrant off. So a little bit of an involved process, but one I've done before manually, and I want to document it for posterity's sake. This project of pump reseal, cleanup, everything here is complete. Good to go. Everything went back on the way it was supposed to. So If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe down there somewhere. Hit the bell for notifications. It doesn't cost you a thing to like and subscribe down there. It'll help my channel grow. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down there, if you will, please. If you have any comments or feedback for me on this process, see anything I'm doing wrong, leave a comment below. I love reading those things from you guys. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hey, quickly before we go, I know I already said thanks for watching, but you remember these? Don't forget to move them back down and reattach them. They go right there on the bolts on both sides. Oh, I'd forget my head if it wasn't screwed on.